Hi, Grizzlies. Welcome back to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. My name is Gisela K, and today we continue to look at the case of Debbie Collier. I have spent the last 24 hours looking at all the police reports and all the voice notes and 911 calls and everything I could find. And so, in doing all of that, I have a whole bunch of information that I just want to bring to you, and I hope I can do a good job, because when you've got all these little bits and pieces now to bring it together and present it to you, I hope it goes well. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Mod, for being here as well. Hi to everyone. Hope you can hear me. Please put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. I hope so. Okay. Richard says, "Hey, G, nice to see you again." Nice to see you. So, the first thing that I want to play is something from the police files, which is a 911 call that Debbie Collier made around May 2021 about Andrew Geigerich. So the title, of course, of this video, as you can see by the thumbnail, was "Where Was He That Weekend?" And we're going to go over that as well. I've made, of course, a normal to-do list that I do here as well, so that because I found some interesting little bits. Again, I don't know why the glitches happen here and there. Sorry about that. But yeah, where was he that weekend is really the question. To me, after everything I've researched now today, I'm like, he's he's still a red flag, bright red, in fact. Laurie says, "You always do a stand-up job. Thank you so much." And Simply Stranger says, "You are doing a fantastic job on this case. Thank you so much." Hello to Lieutenant Peter Pronzo. Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. What's up? True Crime Reactions with Jules of all trades. Nice to see you as well. Damn, we already have the naughty bots rolling in. What? Already? Now, listen to this call. Trigger warning, because we, of course, are going to hear the victim's voice, which is Debbie Collier's voice. Okay? So here it is from around May 2021. Okay? So listen to this.
From Clark County, 911.
Hi, my name is Debbie Collier. I own the property at 1332 Tallahassee Road.
Uh-huh.
Andrew Geigerich is there breaking out the windows in my property, trying to break in on my daughter. I am so sick of him destroying my property. Please arrest him, and if I need to meet you out there, I will.
You sound like breaking out the windows.
Yes, he's out there breaking out the windows. He's broke my daughter's bedroom window right now.
All right, looks like your daughter's also calling in about it.
Okay, good.
All right, well, we got him on the way, okay?
All right, honey. Thank you so much.
No problem.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, so that is the 911 call that Debbie Collier made about a year and a half before she was found dead in the woods 60 miles or so north of her home. Okay, so we don't know what she was doing. Why was she out in that area that day? We still don't know. There's still many questions, as law enforcement says. I also emailed the Habersham County Records Office today and asked them, is there going to be a press conference? Because that's what's rumored. I asked them for the footage of Debbie Collier inside, not just paying, but browsing the aisles of the Family Dollar store, and a few other things. If they're the autopsy details, and they said they're still waiting on reports, and only then will they say more. And they don't have that footage to give out right now. So, okay. Shout out again to Shelby from the record department. She's very sweet. All right. Petey Notterman says she sounds like a nice lady. Princess Skywalker says, was this before or after the note he wrote? It was around that time. Alexa says, is that the current boyfriend? Yes. Jules says, oh, wow, they were calling in at the same time. Oh, yes. Now, the thing is, Okay, so I'm trying to structure all the stuff that I know. I've made a whole bunch of notes. I almost filled up a notebook here, you guys. So I'm just going to look at my little chicken scratch over here. What I want to say is I was trying to figure out how long had Andrew Geigerich and Amanda been dating. And what I found was, if you look at their LinkedIn profiles, then, where's that scratch? Hold on. Amanda Beardens one says she works for Habitat for Humanity, but in Maryland, July 2022 until present. So not very long there. And maybe she transferred to one in Georgia. We just don't know. Before that, she was a scheduling coordinator at Williams Sonoma. And that was from June 2019 until January 2021. Now, Andrew, if you remember the body cam footage, do you remember the body cam footage, you guys? Of when he was trying to get his stuff and he was saying, I've never taken a drug in my life. And he doesn't know why Amanda steals money from him. And he doesn't know why he's so unliked and that her and her mom have falsified reports against him. Do you remember that? Well, in that, the officer who was towering above him said, where do you work? And he said, Williams Sonoma. Now, from June 2019 until May 2022, he was a forklift operator at Williams Sonoma. So, according to his LinkedIn profile. So, my speculation would be he's there from June 2019, and so is Amanda. They probably dated from around that time. They may have even met there. I don't know, but it seems like the relationship started around then. And then from 2020, his rap sheet starts, which is all kinds of DV. And it's the typical pattern we see, which is very sad. I know that Amanda's also got records, but if you look into when the officers respond to her DV calls, she apologizes for him, says she doesn't want to get him in trouble. She's shaking, she's bruised, some of her injuries are bleeding, and she says, no, it's nothing. It's old. It's an old injury. So as we saw, remember from Gabby Petito, when she was apologizing for him and saying, I even apologized to him. Remember in the Moab body cam footage? It just reminds me of that in a way of saying, oh man, like this lady, and this is not her first DV relationship. This is at least her third that I have found, of which I've also dug up all the records of the previous ones. And what I can see is that there's a pattern of Debbie stepping in between Amanda and the man, between Amanda and whichever man she's dating at the time. Okay. Now that is a pattern that you can see. So I do think that as we heard the 911 call now, Debbie would have again be like, oh my word, again, another DV relationship, and saying, can you please just arrest him? Can you please just sort this guy out? That kind of stuff. There was a previous relationship that Amanda was in with a Thomas something or other. I don't want to say the full name. I don't know. I've got it scratched in here. Thomas. And in that relationship, he actually called Debbie a effing itch. He's like shouting at her, and the officers took note of it because of how threatening he was to Debbie. So you see what I mean? We know in DV relationships, the statistics show that if someone gets involved, tries to intervene in some way, sometimes they become the target. And I really wonder if that is what's happening here, because Andrew was flagged, according to the police. They literally wrote the words flagged as being a former MMA fighter, flagged for his escalating aggression, and of course the notes that he wrote that time for Amanda, right? Now, by the way, I have the full picture. We'll go over that. We'll go over everything. I just wanted to go live. Otherwise, I'm going to sit here all day again in a rabbit hole. I want to go live and talk to you guys about everything I've found so far. So forgive me if it's not the most structured thing. I hope it'll make sense, though. Jules says, so he didn't have any charges on his record until he got with Amanda. Am I hearing that right? It does seem so. It seems like his rap sheet starts around 2020. So, yeah. Rochelle says, not unusual for the mom to support the daughter. Exactly. Yeah, not unusual at all. What I'm saying is the aggression that I'm seeing from the aggressor, which would make sense, towards Debbie for trying to help her daughter the whole time. I mean, it already sounded dangerous for the first guy, and then again with the second guy, and then Amanda always kind of protecting the abuser, which is a pattern as well, of course, that we see in DV, but we see it definitely with Amanda. I mean, one guy literally was lying to law enforcement about his name, and she covered for him and said, no, that's his name. So there's a whole bunch going on here. Yeah. Marie says, always my favorite place for my true crime. Thank you so much. So, yes, I'm thinking that this pattern with the aggressors already being a threat to Amanda and to her mother. They're always threatening Amanda and the mother. That's already a red flag. And now this would be at least the third DV relationship she's in. And this guy's a former MMA fighter. And he lost his mom in a way because she was sentenced to prison in July of 2021, started a sentence in December. I don't know. I could just imagine. And he's tiny. So it could be like, I don't know. I could just imagine the rage he may have. So there's that as well. Okay. So now let's try to structure this, shall we? Let's first go over this report right here, which what I wanted to show you, let me just go to my little notes here, is around, I think it's this one. Yeah. Now, Debbie went missing on September 10th, a Saturday, right? And we know the timeline, right? I hope so. I hope that you saw, let me actually put subscriber only mode on. Just hold on 1 second. I hope that you saw my previous episode because that was jam-packed with information too. I'm going to put subscriber only mode on quickly so that we don't have this bot problem because it's actually quite annoying. As much as I figured them out, they figured me out too. My word. Okay. Boozy Luma says, is it wrong that you're my only source of news these days? I don't know. Is it? Katie says, your dive down the rabbit hole are very informative trips, Gisela. Thank you so much. Jamie says, why does Amanda always pick losers? Unfortunately, it can be a pattern. And the thing is, she stalks them as well. Like, she is in such toxic relationships that she was literally stalking Andrew. This is after all the fights, after all the no contact reports and all this, the orders and everything. She then drove over to his grandmother's house where he was staying and put a letter on his car, probably under the windshield wiper is what I imagine. She put a letter on his car and stalked him and was upset with him for not returning her calls, same as in the previous relationships. The fights they had was because the guy was working an extra shift and then wasn't spending enough time with her. Then, the guy wasn't returning her calls. But these are abusers. These are people who totally abuse her big time. And man, she got some attachment issues for damn sure, Now, we know that Debbie went missing on September 10th, 2022, on the Saturday when she drove 70 miles north, which we still don't know exactly why, but there's many different things we've looked at of why it could be. Okay, and of course, the Victory Home Lane Rehab Men's Facility has not responded to my email, which I find a little bit interesting. Just a little bit. Just like, oh, they're not talking at all. So you just never know if Andrew was really trying to check in there or saying he would or in there or whatever. I don't know. But if we look here at this, where was Andrew that day? Okay. Now, there's a lot to dive into. And again, I hope it all makes sense. What they say here at 3:14 p.m., they were looking for Andrew Geigerich, okay? They first went to this Tallahassee, I keep getting on Tallahassee, I added in for them, but it's not the same here. Tallahassee Road, Athens, right? They went there, they were looking for Andrew at 3:14, and if we carry on going, right, we go up because they start from, the time log starts from the bottom and goes, you work your way upwards. And I've worked through, I don't know, about 20 of these reports today. So here you can see Andrew Geigerich, male, white, date of birth 1995 and all this, right? So they go to Tallahassee Road, which is where Amanda Bearden lives, which is the property that Steve Collier owns. They go there first and they're looking for him. And look at the time, because remember, it was just before 2 p.m. that they called Amanda and said they've located her mother's vehicle. This was on the 11th. Sorry. This was on the 11th. Okay. So on the 10th, Debbie goes missing. The Venmo sent at 3:17 p.m. From there on, no one hears from her again. Her phone is turned off. All right. 6:01 p.m., Steve Collier makes the call. Missing persons report filed. This is September 10th, Saturday. Now we go to September 11th. In the morning, Amanda called 911 at 8:30 and at 9:40. Then, just before 2 p.m., it was around 1:56 p.m., law enforcement calls Amanda and says, "We found your mother's vehicle." I still find it strange that she drove right past that vehicle. If she was coming from Athens, Georgia to go north where she was in Rabin County, she would have driven right past Debbie's vehicle. Okay. So that's just interesting to me. Like, oh man, did you not see it? Like, did you not see it? Because when she came back and the police were all there, she's like, oh my word, that's my mother's car. Moving along. She was in Rabin County looking for her mom, not at the Family Dollar Store, at Walmart, Ulta, and around there, which is already interesting. And I would love to know what car she was in, and I'm going to get into that. Then that was around 2 o'clock. She arrived there within 20 minutes, right? So that's what they say. So around 20 past, 2:30, she's there at the crime scene. Steve was also later there at the crime scene. But where was Andrew? Because at this time, while one team is out at the scene, it seems like another team is looking for Andrew. So they're saying, oh my word, where's this guy? So they go to Tallahassee Road, which is where Amanda stays and where he just said, oh, we just got back 2 days ago and he just moved in there, right? So they go to that address. They say person Andrew Geiger is still looking for him. Last name dispatched. And then look at the whole team en route. Can you see my pointer? Yeah. Look at this whole team is like en route to the area. They go there. They've got license plate numbers, and I've done background checks on all of these. This RPH 9493 is a 2007 Nissan Versa. Okay, so they go to Tallahassee Road, can't find him there. Then they go to Stonehenge Way, Athens, which is where I believe that's his address where he lives with his grandmother. So they go there. Okay, and they keep looking. Look at it. 357, 401, and we keep it going at the scene, Stonehenge Way. And then if we keep going up, I mean, they're still looking for him. Where was he that whole day? Where was he on Saturday? I really want to know where he was on Saturday, because Amanda said she spoke to Debbie on Saturday afternoon, then at 3:17 received the Venmo and got all worried and scared, which is weird because she said her mother left everything behind. But yet her mother had a phone and a purse and everything. But okay. It's also interesting how in the beginning of this case, Amanda, of course, told everyone that her mother only took her driver's license and debit card. But yet later she said the only thing that was at the house was her driver's license and credit card. And I'm like, man, oh man, that just is very strange. Anyway, moving right along. If you keep going here at 3:12, they say call location changed to Tallahassee Road, Athens. And you keep going, right? You can obviously screenshot this if you wanted to, or just go to the link to find it. They say here, 3:14 p.m., looking for Andrew Geigerick. Send units to 1332 Tallahassee Road. He should be at this location. He has a local, and transport him to East PD. So they don't even mean just look for him and say, hey, how are you doing? Where are you? No, they say look for him at 3:15 and transport him immediately to East PD. So with him being a red flag to us, he's a red flag to law enforcement too. So they can't find him there. So then they say, Andrew Geigerick, contact this phone, Stonehenge Way, Athens. We keep going. They say alerts were successfully gathered for global system subject name Andrew Geigerick. Secondary location. Now they say flagged S. They say critical narrative added. Flagged S41. Trained MMA fighter. CCSO confirmed on Geigerick. View alerts tab, right? Now they go 3:32. All units are now ER to the location, and they go en route, and off they go, right? 3:34. They say at the scene. License plate is TBJ6236. Now that one, what did I write down? I've written down as much as I could here. Wait. Can't find that one right now. It's somewhere in my notes here. But anyway, let's go. They say here. Okay. At the scene. Then they say, I could see the back door. It's closed. I have nothing up front. Negative on the back. Checking closer. And then they say, get with a girlfriend, see if maybe he's at his mom's at Stonehenge. Negative contact, right? Not bringing up that out of here, but if you want to check, go for it. Change from 1332 Tallahassee Road, Athens to 220 Stonehenge Way, Athens. And then they say crossing the streets, and they're going on again, and the whole team goes again, driving to Stonehenge. Nissan Versa. They've got the Geigerich car there. And if we keep going, sorry, I hope this is not boring for you. For me, it's not boring at all to look at all this stuff, right? They say they can't get hold of him there. So they go to Tallahassee Road, they go to the Stonehenge place. They can't find Andrew. They were looking for him very urgently on that day at that time, which I find quite interesting. Then they say it looks like there's 3 cars in the driveway. Okay. Not getting any movement. Someone just came to the window. And if we look here, this I just found interesting. This number 2396 says no need for CCSO, no continued unit. But below that, it says TBJ 6236. Wait, TBJ 6236. Man, I've looked up all these cars. I can't find exactly what the car is now. Hold on. TBJ 6236. And he's got a lot of cars. There we go. TBJ 6236 in the front yard, covered with a tarp. I don't know why. Rob says, not boring at all. Very interested. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Stefan, as well. Andrew doesn't like to be confronted. Yeah, clearly. And he's all over YouTube talking. What the hell is that? Ophelia says, is he really smart enough not to leave DNA? I don't believe it. Is Andrew an official suspect? They haven't named any official suspects. They've not named any persons of interest or official suspects. They just said Debbie's case is a murder. It's a homicide case. And they believe that her murder was personal and targeted. Irene says he's in the chat often. He will answer questions. Okay, Andrew, where were you? If Andrew is in the chat, where were you on Saturday and Sunday? So, yeah, this one car was covered in a tarp, right? So there's that, which, why? Anyway, so if we carry on here, there's that. That's just some random information. You could see again a summary, flagged, trained MMA fighter. The units are all going there. Stonehenge, not getting any movements. The TBJ 6236 car is in front yard covered with a tarp. It is a 2004 Ford Focus wagon, and it's a salvaged vehicle. So it's old. It's salvaged. It looks like from California. I'm not too sure. Anyway, so there's that. Okay. So where was he on Saturday? There's some rumor out there that him and Amanda went camping that weekend. Okay? Around the Tallulah Falls Gorge area. That would be interesting. That's a rumor, pure rumor that I've just seen out there on social media. But the thing is, Amanda clearly wasn't there wherever they were camping, if that's even mildly true. How? Because by 6 p.m., she's back home, well, in Athens, Georgia, with Steve, calling 911, telling Steve, much later, of course, I got this message. What I found interesting is that in the message, all she relayed to Steve was, they won't let me go. That's all it said. So she left out this blue flower pot thing. And if I look at the records, the arrest records between Amanda and Andrew, there's a few times that she says he has a key to a house. The one time when he wrote that note, he said, we can go over the note again, but the little note that he wrote and saying, if your family ever comes near me, which was about in May 2021, I will hurt them. And then apparently when he left the place, the house at Tallahassee Road, he threw the key back into the house. So there she had the key. But then in December, if we look at December, that's after May, December 2021, again, he had a key to the house. So this whole thing about the key in the blue flower pot by the door is still interesting to me. I don't want to read too much into it, but it's just like, Andrew's a red flag. You know what I mean? Steph says, Steph 75. I'm never going camping again. It always comes down to camping. This is the thing. Was Andrew not with Amanda when she went to tell Steve? So let me not forget this. Let me quickly do this. On Sunday, the police, law enforcement, some were at the crime scene. Some went to 435 Rocky Drive, right to Debbie's house. When the officer got there, he said a dog ran out to meet him. But you know what I mean? Like a dog ran out and he saw the dog and everything. He said they want to secure the house, lock it down so that nobody can leave, so they could see who all is in there. There were 6 people in that house. Steve Collier, Amanda Bearden, Jeffrey Bearden, his wife, and 2 other people. I'm just going to say Jessica and Jonathan, their first names, so we don't, I don't know. I won't say their last name. I don't know who the heck they are. They came from Alabama, so it might be a niece or a nephew, someone who's married. I don't know. But the thing is that the police records, list the cars that were parked there at the house. Of these cars, these are the cars listed, right? A Nissan Versa 2007 Georgia license plate number, a red Ford 250 pickup truck, okay, a Toyota Camry. That's also these 3 that I've just listed. A Nissan Versa, a red Ford pickup truck, and a Toyota Camry are parked outside with Georgia number plates. That is Andrew's car, Steve's car, and Amanda's car, the Camry. Okay? Steve, Amanda's car, and Andrew's car, but Andrew's not there. Then there's a Toyota Prius, which would be Jeffrey and his wife's. And there's also a Nissan Rogue 2016 from Alabama, and I assume that's the other couple. Okay. So why the hell is Andrew's car parked there at Debbie's house on the Sunday? But he's not anywhere there. They can't find him. But it's Steve, Amanda, Jeffrey. So Steve, and then Amanda and her brother Jeffrey, Debbie's 2 children, Jeffrey's wife, and 2 other people. Another thing, I'm just saying things so I don't forget. Another thing I find interesting from all these DV reports is that Andrew's younger sister Morgan, the one he mentioned on his Twitter account, often threatened Amanda too. That was listed in the report, that she was threatening Amanda. And I'm like, whoa, okay. So I wonder sometimes if that's the young female who was seen going over in the evenings and on weekends, or who is it? Who went over there in the evenings and the weekends where there was fighting heard? Because Amanda wasn't living there that whole time, right? Oh, my word. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for subscribing. If you are brand new here, welcome to Grizzly True Crime. If you'd like to deep dive, and this case definitely got my attention gripped. So how do I know that the red Ford pickup is Steve's car? Because I could see the Toyota Camry is parked outside of, you could see Amanda driving the car, and tiny man Andrew also with the car. We see pictures of them around September 23rd, 2022 with that car. It's on Daily Mail and all these other news articles, right? So the Camry, we can rule out, cool. That's obviously Amanda's. The red Ford is because there was a DV incident in which Steve actually drove to the Tallahassee Road apartment that he owns to go and see what the hell was going on there. And Andrew's grandmother also drove to that location. Police were there. That's when we see the photos of Amanda's shoulder being all beaten up and all that kind of stuff. And he arrived in a red Ford pickup truck is what they described it as. So I'm like, oh, so then it must be that one. The weird thing about that little police report, there's 2 of them. One says Steve Collier. The other one, the initial report says, when the man arrived in the red pickup truck, they asked his name and he said his name was Kevin and that he's Amanda's stepfather. Now, I don't know why Steve would make up a name, Kevin. Why did he make up a name to law enforcement? I don't understand. And then say he's the stepfather. But then the next report that came out said Steve Collier and all that. So maybe then he had to give ID or something. I'm not too sure, especially if he owns the place. Found the detail quite weird, right? Okay. So just one more thing I want to show you. I'm just trying to keep track of my own thoughts here. All right. At 6:46 p.m. on September 12th, 2022, law enforcement said they were transporting one female to the East Department, I would assume. And so that could be Amanda on the 12th. I'm not too sure, right? Okay. Boozy Loomer says, so Steve was Kevin. In that report, yeah, the red pickup truck, the stepdad arriving, him saying he owns the property, and him saying that Amanda and Andrew have a long history of, fighting, and he didn't know that Andrew wasn't living there. He thought he was living there the whole time. Amanda said she's confused about when Andrew was last there and all this kind of stuff, because she was reporting a burglary. So she got arrested too that day because she reported a burglary. But meanwhile, Andrew was actually living there and they had a huge fight. But it's just weird that he said his name was Kevin. Right? Jessica says, the officer remembered wrong. Yeah. Okay, so now let me try and keep track of everything I want to share here. Let's quickly go to the photos, which would be here. I wanted to show you this picture quickly. Yeah, let's do this one. This would be the Camry. There's one picture now from the crime scene here, but here we go. The next picture after that. This picture. Okay. Remember the Venmo message said, they are not going to let me go. Love you. There's a key to the house in the blue flower pot by the door. Well, at the house are these. This is at the Tallahassee Road house where Amanda and Andrew stay. There's bluish, they're grayish, bluish gray flower pots right by the door as well. So just consider that. I know that there's blue flower pots right outside Debbie's door, but there are also these grayish, bluish flower pots hanging right by the front door of the Tallahassee house where Amanda lives and where Andrew just suddenly rocked up and started living too. So just keep that in mind, okay? I hope all of this is making sense. Then, let me just see. I want to show you this as well. This would be a picture from 2021. And here you can't see the blue flower pots. Yes, this is the 8-bedroom house owned by Steve. Doesn't look like an 8-bedroom one, but maybe there's 4 on one side, 4 on the other. I don't know. So it could be. But here you don't see the blue flower pots, and now suddenly in those recent photos, we do see them. You know what I mean? So I don't know if those are new flower pots or something. I don't know. Are they? I don't know. Because they are there, and you just don't know if he was sending a message, right? Tracy, not the flower pots again. Yeah, the flower pots. Again. Goodness me. All right. So let me quickly just look at my notes to see if I'm following everything I want to share correctly. Right? So we've got that. Okay. And we've looked at the incident reports and everything. We looked at that in the last stream. Okay. Now, Debbie's vehicle, the one that was in the repair shop. I was wondering, how long would it be in the repair shop? What's it in the repair shop? All that stuff, just general questions I have. Steve is actually pictured here picking the vehicle up. Right here. He's picking up the vehicle. Okay? That is Steve Collier picking up Debbie's 2020 Ford Ranger. Shadow black. 16,919 miles on the clock. And the thing is, it was listed for sale in July, on July 15th and on July 18th. Then, obviously, it didn't sell or something because it's the same car that was involved in an accident in April with that Miguel Martinez guy. And I don't know, I just find it interesting that it was put up for sale in July on the 15th and the 18th, and then not in August, not in September. But then now in October, after Steve had collected this vehicle from the repair shop, it's back up for sale. October 20th, 21st, and 22nd. So now they're trying to sell the vehicle. Now that could just be because it's just too painful to keep it. And maybe ironically, you just wanted to sell it in July after Debbie had that accident where the one driver's side door and things like that were damaged from a metal item coming off the roof for that Miguel Martinez. So yes, that could have just been in July. Let's sell it rather. But now it's back up for sale. Okay. Goodness. Lorraine says, got my Grizzly notebook out. Oh, man. Daydream Believer says the date on the photo is 3/21/21. It would be it would be too cool to have hanging flowers out then, right? Okay, so we've got that. I'm just looking at more things here. Just hold on one second. The other thing I found interesting, as I say, I'm just bringing a whole bunch to you today. I'm trying to just share everything I know and make it make sense. This picture, I found this on one news article where they literally said the caption was that Debbie Collier was clutching, hey, that specific tree. Wait, where did it go now? Hold on. Where'd you go now, picture? Where'd you go? This one. The caption said, Debbie Collier, with her right hand, was clutching this tree. This tree that was sawn off. This tree is the one she was clutching? Did anyone else hear that? Did anyone else see that anywhere? Davinia, Miguel Martinez, my uncle's name. Every time you mention him, I'm like, what? Oh, man. Marin says Steve is not Kevin. Steve has a son-in-law named Kevin who is married to his daughter Stephanie. Interesting that they said Kevin because the police officer wrote that down. But it was actually Steve. Yes. Richard said, was it the truck which was hit by a paint can? Yes. Jamie says, why is she still driving a rental? I don't know how long she had the rental. It could have just been for that weekend. It's still weird to drive that far in a rental. Like, damn. But I don't know what for, right? I don't know what for. Hello to Gray. If you are in the chat, I see people saying things. There you go. Someone said yesterday in a video that the blue flower pot by the door was at the crime scene. But where's the door? But where is the door? Oh, wait. Someone took the flower pot to the crime scene. Oh, man. That that flower pot. Yeah. Kathleen says it did see that reported, but it makes no sense about the cut-off tree. Right? Like, what is that? Like, did someone bring a saw along? Or what is going on here? Or did they just get the caption wrong in this picture? I'm just like, when I saw it, I'm like, wait, what? You're telling me that she was... And they say there's 2 burn sites. Here's the one, and she was clutching this tree. And then there's a second burn site. And I'm like, what are they even saying? I don't know. Sometimes you just don't know. What I wanted to show you was the flower pot. This one, we looked at it in the last stream. This one is from the Northeast Georgian newspaper. The picture's still there. This is the flower pot. I don't know. If it even looks like it's been there for way longer, but I don't know. Maybe had to wait on car door parts due to delayed supply chain. Maybe. Caroline says, I think law enforcement cut that tree. Interesting. Andy says, I think CCTV will solve this case one way or another. If you guys remember Andy Bay, I shared screenshots of where Andrew Geigerich had communicated with people in the comments, and one of them was Andy. Thank you for being here, Andy. How's he starting the truck? She's gone, and the pavement could be pretty high. Yeah, the flower pot at the scene is black. Yes. Okay. So this is the flower pot. You can still see a barcode on it. I don't know. I don't know if... I'm not sure that this would be... Whoever did this, I'm not sure that they're smart enough to make it symbolic, right? To make it like, ooh, this is now they're going to put this there. And it's also very different, of course, to the unfired round that was found there. This is something else that was used on this. I don't know what's going on here, but it could just be like that Pepsi bottle that was also found out there when we saw one of the Grizzlies, Lisa, go out there and check out this whole scene. There were cans and Pepsi bottles and all sorts of things out there. You just don't know, right? Marco says, cops tossed blue gloves and chopped a tree in a crime scene. Lovely. Shivani says, why not chop the tree to seek evidence since Debbie was clutching it? If she was, yeah. Christina says, these two have LinkedIn profiles? Eek, discouraging as an HR professional. They indeed do have LinkedIn profiles. They do. flower pot garbage. Just a dead flower pot. Yes, I don't know. That was from the Northeast Georgian newspaper. Let's see what other images I have here for you. Hold on 1 second. It might trigger a thought because there's so many things to look at that I'm like, what? How long have we been here? 40 minutes. Not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, so if we look at, I think it was, is it this one? I mean, there's all these different pictures of the scene. It's a very strange crime scene. I don't know what the hell's going on here. I don't know why those paper towels are only burnt on the edges like that. What is that? Do you know how hard it would be to burn a paper towel on the edges like that? Also, yeah, trigger warning for DV. It's like all these pictures are from Amanda's police reports. I just want to see. Okay. We're looking. Yeah, like this. Look at this. What the hell? Just a weird crime scene, this. Jules says, but clutching it up that high seemed like they would have dug it up at the root. If she was laying down, she'd been grasping the bottom portion of the tree, right? That could be, yeah. Probably clutching it at the bottom if it's that tree. Caroline, the stream has hardly even started if the time is still measured in minutes versus hours. That is true. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, wait. Let me just see if I need to put slow mode on at all. Wait for it. Okay. We're still good. Patricia Byrne says if the paper towel was screwed up tightly, it would burn like that. True as well. Just so strange. Like the jersey is like burnt right off. There's nothing left of her jersey. She's found topless, right? And she's got her shoes on still when she's found. But then these paper towels are just like a little bit burnt. It's just so, what a weird crime scene. It's just like such a strange case. Oh my goodness. Yeah, great. She has 9 feet long arms. Oh man, goodness. You guys are like, truth is stranger than fiction in this case. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Okay, we're good. Sure. So let me just quickly remove this, take this, and let's see if we can see some of those reports and things that I got for you. Debbie Collier. Okay. So you can see here, I have saved a whole bunch of reports for you. Okay, so let's try to find one that actually makes sense. This one was a little bit interesting. I could look at all these reports all day. It is also strange that they did say on the Northeastern Georgian newspaper that there were leaves 10 feet high that were like singed from a fire, which would imply the fire was quite high. It's quite a big fire, right? Stefan, there's more left on that crime scene than in the Prosser Reservoir. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here they say Tallahassee Road, Athens. Wait. I just want to zoom out of this. Hello, could we zoom out or not? There you go. Suspicious. I just want to see what this was. Is it this? Wait for it. Wasn't this for Amanda? I'm pretty sure. Wait, in progress. Advise her to call us again if anything else happened. She said she had never seen the suspect vehicle, the suspects before. So I believe, yeah, this was Amanda, okay? Lisa, thank you so much. The paper towels I saw were more like chunks that were left. Oh, Lisa was at the crime scene, you guys, out at the scene. The paper towels I saw were more like chunks that were left from a whole roll being burnt. The towels were not unrolled. Oh, very interesting. Dem says, I naively thought this was going to be solved quickly. Well, yeah, I suppose we all hope so, right? But law enforcement was like, this is going to take a significant amount of time to solve this. Yeah, who put the fire out? Interesting. Who put the fire out and where's the lighter? Some of the many questions we have. Now, this was 9/28/2021. Okay, September 2021. Amanda called us in and said she'd never seen the suspect vehicle or the suspect before. She said that she has a current case against her ex-boyfriend, Andrew Geigerich, and that Andrew's sister, Morgan, made threats against her recently, but she has no way to know if this is related. She met with a complainant and said that there was a dark gray sedan following her all the way from the racetrack by the mall to the Golden Pantry on Tallahassee. When she would change lanes, they would change lanes behind her. Said she pulled into Tallahassee Road, Golden Pantry, and rolled down the window and said, "Can I help you? Why are you following me?" And said that the passenger, a black female wearing a shower cap, jumped out of the car and ran towards her vehicle. She sped off up Tallahassee Road and turned into Pilgrim's Pride, and the vehicle followed her. It was pulling in as she was pulling back out. She said she drove up Tallahassee to Lavender Road, down Jefferson to Whitehead, and back to her house to be sure the vehicle was gone. Now, why do I find this interesting? Because this is still at the heat of the moment when her and, Andrew are fighting so much. There's all kinds of, their rap sheet is building, and his aggression is escalating. And at this time in September, after his mother was arrested in July, right, for something else, which we've gone over already. But it's just weird to think that this dark gray sedan. So could it be in her imagination? Sure. But here it is on the police report that this dark gray sedan was following her all the way. So I don't know. Sometimes a part of me wonders if maybe someone was following Debbie that day and maybe even thought it was Amanda or something. You just don't know. I don't know what this was about or who would have asked this person to follow Amanda. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that is what they say. Suspects driving a dark sedan. There you go. Uh-huh. Brian Hoffman says, Angela, I agree. The hand on the tree is haunting. Kathleen Stutzman says, poor woman, hope they catch who did this. Lorraine says, this fire was to hide evidence, someone close to her. The police were so well acquainted with the name Amanda Bearden, says Terry Federer. Miss Stewie says, maybe she was standing up and tied to the tree. I believe they said in the report she was lying down on her back. Brian says a tox screen will be interesting. Psych meds in her system. Goodies Gumdrop says paper towels don't burn very well. Should I go try? Janet says she was only burnt in the torso area. Jules says, I really didn't think it was going to take so long. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and apparently that was all just rumor of that radio station, some lady called Norma saying that they're going to have a press conference after the celebration of life. I don't know. Now I see today on Twitter, they're like, oh, that's probably just rumor. Anyway, there's this dark gray sedan that followed Amanda in September last year. So that's what I can report there. These are just little bits of information that I found. Now let's just quickly look at what else we got. We've got that. Miguel Martinez. This one I called Who's Kevin? So this was in 05/12/2021. And this is where I got this from when they say on 05/12/21, I responded with Officer Manning to a domestic at the incident location. Upon arrival, Officer Manning was standing on the porch speaking with a young female wearing shorts. He'd been out at the location earlier in the day with the same female identified as Amanda Bearden. She told him that her ex-boyfriend had broken into the house and destroyed 2 mirrors, some windows, and had struck her several times. We were there because he had come back to the location for a second time that same date. While Officer Manning was speaking to the location, Bearden said it was her boyfriend's grandmother. Officer Manning spoke to her, and the grandmother said that the boyfriend had been staying with Bearden on and off since they dated. For the sake of making this easier to understand, Kevin is the stepdad of Bearden. The incident location is the residence of Bearden and the boyfriend. It's owned by Kevin. So Bearden rents from her stepdad. The boyfriend's grandmother lives in Stonehenge, and the boyfriend stays with her sometimes when Bearden kicks him out of the Tallahassee residence. Shortly thereafter, a male subject pulled up in a red Ford pickup. He said he was Bearden's stepfather. I asked him to stay with me while Officer Manning was interviewing Bearden and the grandmother. I inquired as to whether or not he had any contact with them to this date. He said that they both had been at this house earlier that morning. Bearden had come to the house and he had followed her in his vehicle. I got his first name, which was Kevin, but didn't know his last name. You see? So weird. Hold on. Gray says if Debbie sent the Venmo, then it's not nefarious as there was nobody else in the car with her to force her to write it. Exactly. So here they say, I asked when the boyfriend moved out of the house, and he said that he didn't think he had, and that he lived there all the time, on and off, altered between the present location and the boyfriend's grandmother's house in Stonehenge. He told me that the violence between Bearden and the boyfriend was pretty constant over the entire time they've dated, spanning a couple of years, he thought. He did say that most of his information on the subject came from his wife, who is Bearden's mother. Bearden had distinctly said that she hadn't spoken to the boyfriend in 2 weeks and hadn't seen him in a month. Kevin said that Bearden had said, when at his house, that the boyfriend had been with her at Bearden's residence. The information from Kevin indicated that Bearden wasn't truthful about the incident this morning. All right. So they say, I informed Officer Manning of what I had learned. He told me that the grandmother had also confirmed that the boyfriend had been living at the Tallahassee address. The grandmother left, and we asked Kevin to sit in his vehicle while we spoke with Bearden again. When confronted with the difference in her statement and what Kevin and the grandmother were saying, she became defensive and started crying. There were visible marks on the inside of her right forearm that were red and puffy, and the centers were purple. He told Officer Manning early in the morning it had been 2 weeks since she had seen her boyfriend and 2 weeks since she had heard from him. When confronted with the fact that Kevin and the grandmother said she was with the boyfriend last night and that he never moved out, she said she had gotten confused earlier in the morning and was confused by the questions. I asked her what confused her about whether or not her boyfriend lived there, and she got even more upset. So Amanda also doesn't like confrontation, and she can definitely lie straight to law enforcement's face. And when they call her out, she gets visibly upset. She gets like really upset. It's also interesting to note that on the day that they found Debbie's car, Stephen Collier was out there. They said he was calm and collected. But Amanda, yes, when she arrived and saw the car, hysterical. Makes sense. But the thing is, she was trying to get now Habersham's reporters off the scene, shouting obscenities at them. Maybe she's just like, get away from my mother's case because I don't want media on it. But at the same time, I don't know. I just find the contrast quite interesting. Anyway, so they say Officer Manning and I spoke in private about the situation. It felt like there was probable cause to arrest the boyfriend for battery on Bearden and for criminal trespass for breaking windows and the mirrors, but Bearden also met the level of probable cause for false report of a crime. The information that she had given in the morning led to probable cause for a burglary warrant, and the truth that she and the others had given us in the afternoon revealed that there was no basis for a warrant for burglary, as it's her residence or his residence as well as hers. We went back to the residence and she was placed under arrest for false report of a crime. She was handcuffed by this officer and placed in my patrol car. As soon as the handcuffs were placed on her, she immediately started crying and screaming obscenities at us. She yelled at me and off all the way to jail, effing cop, and how she was the one reporting the crime, so we had to be nice to her. When I tried to explain that she had lied and that it was her responsibility to be honest when she called police, she just talked over me. She was released to CC jail without incident, and that's from that report, right? So their relationship was tremendously toxic. Let's find another example of that. Like, my word, these two. There's the DV dynamic, but then at the same time, as soon as they separated, then she wants him back and then stalks him. So let me try to find that. Hold on. It's not that one. There's so many I've got here. We've got the damage. Yeah, this one. Look at this one. Okay, Tallahassee Road again. This was 9/28/2021. 9/28, so September as well. They say Amanda said she goes to visit her ex-boyfriend, Andrew Geigerich, who lives at 220 Stonehenge Way. She parks on Stonehenge Place and then sneaks over there because he lives with his grandma, and the grandma hates her. She admitted that she was in the neighborhood tonight because she left a letter on Andrew's car. I advised her to stay out of the neighborhood and stop stalking her ex-boyfriend, and she explained that the situation is a lot more nuanced than that, and that he just gave her a key to that residence a few days ago. I advised her that the people followed her because they thought she was suspicious and that her vehicle had been called in as a S14 vehicle several times in the last few days. Lorray, you know, G is dreaming of all these documents and immense sus of this case. Oh, indeed. Dreaming. Do you think I'm sleeping? You think I'm sleeping? Kathleen says she's always deep diving. Indeed. And I'm still hoping that this makes sense because actually, I could honestly, you guys, I could spend a solid week. You won't hear a thing from me in this deep dive and looking at everything and just sitting here like going over it all and feeling like I don't know what to present. There's too much stuff here, but I'm just bringing it to you as I discover it piece by piece. So I'm really sorry that if it's not like well packaged or if you're like, well, what's the point of this? It's just interesting. It's just interesting to look at some of the stuff and be like, wait, what? So we've got that one. Let's see what else we got. Amanda, Andrew. Oh, yeah. Amanda and Andrew would fight so loud. There was so much shouting between them that neighbors also called in for a wellness check, basically, for DV-related incidents. Yes, that's the thing. Codependent on each other. Yucky. So it sounds like they are codependent on each other. And especially Amanda on him, on Andrew. Yeah, mutual dependence. Wendy says, I just watched this exact same content on that channel. Who is that, Wendy? Are they also deep diving? I find it hard to believe it's the exact same content unless it's just these documents because I feel like I'm all over the place with this. So, but okay, maybe we're all over the place, right? So let's find another one. Okay, we've got that one. What we got here? Just hold on. There's so many documents here that I can't even. Yes, we've got the previous DV incident with Amanda. So just hold on. Here's this one. Let's see what this one says. Yeah, battery, family violence, first offense. 5/21/2020. We've got the grandmother that's also arriving. Vehicle. At the stated date and time, I was dispatched to the area of Tallahassee Road where it intersects with Lavender Road in reference to a rolling domestic. Caller stated that they saw a white female being beaten by a white male. One caller described the vehicle as a possible gray Jeep, while another stated it was a Kia SUV bearing GA registration number, blah, blah, blah. I arrived in the area and was informed that the vehicle turned south into Tallahassee Road from Lavender Road. Officers made contact with the Kia Sorento, bearing the registration number, at the Shell gas station at the corner of Tallahassee and Mitchell Bridge. Upon arrival, the female approached police with noticeable red marks on her elbow. It was also beginning to bruise and bleed slightly. Upon further examination, she had more bruising on her left arm, backside, below shoulder, and above elbow. When asked about the bruising, she said it was from a different date. You see what I mean? She covers up for all the boyfriends. I identified the female as Amanda Bearden, who did not want police involved. She kept saying she didn't want the male, identified as Andrew Geigerich, to get in trouble. Bearden also began to shake and continually apologized to police and Geigerich. You see? That's a DV pattern right there. Upon further questioning, Bearden tried to tell me the fresh wound on her right arm was old and stated that was not the case, which I stated was not the case. I also explained that she didn't need to be sorry. Eventually, Bearden opened up and told me that recently the two were having relationship issues. She stated that Geigerich packed up his stuff to move out yesterday, but then arrived back at their house to stay the night. This morning, they continued to argue and then went to the store in the Kia. On the way, Bearden sat in the passenger rear seat. She stated this frustrated Geigerich, so he pulled over and attempted to pull her out of the car and move her up front. It was at this time the two callers witnessed this and notified the police. Bearden then explained that she doesn't want Bearden to get in trouble and that she didn't want him arrested. So obviously she didn't want Geigerich to get in trouble. I explained that since the two lived with each other, I would be the one pursuing charges if I could develop probable cause. Bearden also explained that Geigerich was the only one employed at the moment as she was struck by a car a few months ago. That's also interesting. Who the hell struck her with a car? And was it him? Wouldn't doubt it. Anyway. Wow, that's also interesting. Struck with a car. Penning that in my mind. Okay, she said that this was the start of her hard times, as she could not work and then ran into complications returning to work due to the Rona. I then spoke with Geigerich, who stated that he did in fact start to move out of the residence. He stated that they did argue and that on the way to the store, Bearden sat in the back seat, but then got into the front. When I questioned why he pulled over near Lavender, he stated it was because he stopped and his steering wheel locked, so it took him some time to get going again. Based on the evidence of the wounds on Bearden's right arm, her testimony as to what happened, and the 2 separate 911 calls, I placed Geigerich under arrest for battery. He was handcuffed, searched, and transported to the Clark County Jail without incident. While en route to the jail, it was made aware to the police that Geigerich is a trained MMA fighter. So all along, the police are like, he's a trained MMA fighter. They're just making a note of that, Just making a note. Gray says, I think it's either an aliving or she was meeting someone we are not aware of or a hookup and things went really wrong, but hard to rule anything out. I mean, yeah, either of those are still on the table, as they say. It's just interesting. The police say they don't believe it's unaliving and they don't believe it's kidnapping, which of course also takes that whole Venmo message just out, because that seemed like setting up for like, ooh, could this be a kidnapping? But no, law enforcement was like, no. So they say homicide, personal targeted, but we're yet to see. They say they don't believe it's the workings of a serial killer either. So, yes. I wonder also sometimes, the one thing I wonder is if it's someone that she knew or was associated with because they tried to sell the car in July and then the car went in for repairs and then there was a rental car. I don't know. You just don't know if it's someone that she knew from the car dealership or the rental place or whatever that could track the vehicle and follow her and all that kind of stuff. You just don't know if it's that or if she was meeting up with someone or any of that. DIY death is pretty much off the table for me. That's another good way to code that. DIY. Damn, it's a DIY. It was raining, so it was raining in the morning though, right? Not that afternoon. And she was also wearing a sun visor. She was like ready for all weather. That day, Debbie was ready for all weather. She had a sun visor and then she bought a rain poncho and a tarp and all kinds of stuff, right? Okay. Angela Bloom says, I'm curious what's on her social media messages. Same. Very curious. And of course, the FBI is also involved. And of course, they're checking everything on her phone. They've said so in one of the articles as well. They're checking everything. All the messages, all the calls, everything from that day, of course. So who knows? Gray said, I was told there's an item missing from the crime scene. I'm guessing the lighter, which means someone else took it from the scene. So that is what would take it from a DIY type situation to homicide. Also with the fire going out, right? Because it didn't rain that afternoon. We don't know. I don't know. No, like I said, we don't know. I don't know if it rained that evening or the next day. I didn't check that. But with the fire going out and not like, burning that whole ravine down, the fire being quite tall, a 10-foot fire, possibly with the leaves singed. So there's a tallish fire. It went out, and then the lighter may be missing. Very interesting. What I also find interesting about the flower pot being found there, a flower pot, a unfired rifle, a bullet. Is that how we call it? I always get the words wrong. An unfired round. There you go. On the ground. And that was 25 to 30 feet uphill from the crime scene. So there's that. The location of the crime scene, the vehicle being found there in plain sight. Everything about it seems almost, staged. Like as if someone... Now, I'm not saying this is a serial killer case. I'm just going to say this in context of often in serial killer cases, you can see that they will scatter cigarette butts, pieces of gum, random items to confuse the police and throw them off DNA wise, right? They scatter a whole bunch of stuff around the crime scene. So it just seems like there's a lot of weird items around there. If she was burned and they believe that is why it's a homicide and the light is missing, then that's the problem for the self-harm angle. Exactly, yeah. Yes. My Patreon, you guys, I see Marin is asking, it's patreon.com/Grizzly True Crime. I'm going to share some stuff on there with you guys soon. I want to say later, but it's quite late now. I'm still putting it together, you guys. The video that I have for you. Okay. Which I'll talk about later. So, they say Bierden was given a victim bill of rights and advised of the resources to aid her. She was encouraged to seek help that she deemed and do what she needs to do to keep herself safe. While waiting for her ride home to arrive, Bierden informed me that she was in another abusive relationship once and left that person. The vehicle was turned over to Geigerich grandmother, who was the registered owner. When Boatner arrived on scene, she stated that she had told Bearden to leave Geigerich before because it's not a healthy relationship. The grandmother claimed Bearden refused to let him leave her. You see that? You see that? It's like the most unhealthy toxic attachment of all time, these two. We've got pictures of the injuries as well. But let's not look at that, shall we? Let's not. There's so much. So, okay, just hold on. Let me just see what else I've got here. Oh, yeah. This is very random, but in Commerce at an Exxon. Is that a gas station, you guys? Exxon. And this was from way back. Wait, this was, I think, in 2008, wasn't it? 08-25-01. Debbie went to Commerce, and the reason I look at this address and everything is because she went to the Chick-fil-A in Commerce before she was seen at the Family Dollar store on the day she went missing. Now, if we go way back, I think this is from 2001. Yes, 2001. If you go way back, she was actually Deborah Bearden, still there, went shopping in Commerce, which shows at least maybe that's where she went shopping. And the clerk actually stole her card, didn't give her credit card back. And this was reported as credit card theft and fraud because then the credit card was used. Okay. So that's what that is. So it does show she's been there before. You know what I mean? We don't know if that's like a habit of driving to Commerce and then driving further north or not. What are we saying? You say Patreon pics. What? Oh, yes, please to pics. You got pics? Which pics are we talking about? Are we talking about pics related to this stuff? Where the wind blows says the light is not missing. How do you know that where the wind blows? They said majority of the items were found, but they didn't say specifically which ones. Your first or second video, Gisela, went back and checked. Interesting. I don't remember that. Caroline Page says, so many police reports of this family. Yes, there's so many. It's like, I like documents, and I'm just like, what? I'm just like looking at all this stuff. What on earth? So then we've also got this one. We heard the 911 call at the beginning of the stream. This would be the paperwork to support that. 9/4/2021. The caller was Debbie Collier. I tried calling. She'll call back. Also at home. Took the previous report. Once a report for damage. Subject did earlier today. Okay. I'll put it on again one more time. So this was when Andrew went in there and damaged property. Mirrors, the wall, the door, all kinds of stuff. He was going wild. So that's what that is. So let's hear this one more time.
Clark County, 911.
Hi, my name is Debbie Collier. I own the property at 1332 Tallahassee Road.
Uh-huh.
Andrew Geigerich is there breaking out the windows in my property, trying to break in on my daughter. I am so sick of him destroying my property. Please arrest him, and if I need to meet you out there, I will.
You sound like breaking out the windows.
Yes, he's out there breaking out the windows. He's broke my daughter's bedroom window right now.
All right, looks like your daughter's also calling in about it.
Okay, good.
All right, well, we got them on the way, okay?
All right, honey. Thank you so much.
No problem.
All right, bye-bye.
She sounds so sweet, right? So that was, what was the date on that? Between May and September of 2021. When that was. Also in May of 2021, Amanda said to law enforcement that Andrew had moved out about a month ago and that he still has the key to her house. That's what she said in 2021. So in May of 2021, Amanda said Andrew had moved out, and then when he destroyed the property, he threw the key back in to the house. But then in 2021, in December, she said he still has a key to the house. So you could like sneak in and all that kind of stuff. Such a toxic relationship. Oh my word. Let's see what else I got here. So we looked at all of that. Yes. Oh, yeah. Let's refer to my notes. Amanda stalking Andrew. We've looked at that. Debbie stepping in, of course, as a mom would, when her daughter's involved in all these, a whole string of DV relationships. We saw the car collected from the repair shop. We saw a photo of that, Steve collecting it, and now the car is listed for sale. The blue flower pots by the front door, we can see that there's new-ish flower pots by the Tallahassee Drive, Amanda's house, just for interest's sake. And where was Andrew that weekend is really the question. And that Andrew and Amanda had once worked at William Sonoma. So we've looked at everything on my little list there. I just want to quickly look at this whole notebook here. I think I've finished this whole notebook on this one case. Oh my goodness. I'll probably have more. Okay. In April of 2021, Andrew actually came to Amanda's house and damaged her car. So she looked out the window. She saw a shadowy figure, right? And she's like, oh my word, and called the police. She didn't know what was going on. And Andrew was actually kicking the car and damaging her vehicle. So yeah, his violence has only been escalating. That's what we could take from that. In 2006, Amanda was in another DV relationship. So that guy's name is public record. You can see it on the files there, Sean Connor. And that one, Debbie and Jeff had actually called in. And that's that guy called Debbie a effing itch. So you could just see, you know, of course, she's a mom. She's going to try to help out her daughter. But these guys that Amanda chooses, oh my word, very violent dudes. Okay, we've looked at 2001, Debbie going to Commerce, Georgia, to the Exxon, where someone stole her credit card. In 2008, Amanda's job was listed as family counselor. I find that quite interesting. Family counselor, damn. Okay, let's quickly look at these notes over here. Yeah, they were looking for Andrew Geigerich, and there were 3 cars parked outside of his grandma's house. One was covered in the top, a 2015 Kia Rio, a 2007 Nissan Versa, and a 2015 white Kia Rio. So that Nissan Versa, we say Nissan, but I'm saying Nissan for you guys, okay? Is also, there was a Nissan Versa, also 2007, parked outside of Debbie's house when police officers arrived there on the Sunday. So that was interesting. Okay. Wait for it. I'm just going over this. Then I want to show you an article, and then we'll call it a day. Yep, we've gone over there. Steve being calm at the scene. Amanda irate that the media was there and tried to get now Habersham removed, hurling repeated obscenities. Oh yeah, and I also found that Debbie had worked at Carriage House Realty for 7 to 8 years. I wondered about that because they're like, she started a new job at Carriage House Realty and she got a whole new group of friends. I'm like, but how long? 7 to 8 years. And she'd been married to Steve Collier for 9 years and dated for 9 years before that. All right. The unfired round was found 25 to 30 yards uphill from the crime scene, and detectives placed it in a small evidence bag. That's what I saw on one of these articles I was diving at today. Amanda also told police that it was unusual for Debbie to leave without telling anyone. Why I find that strange is she said her mom left with only her driver's license and debit card. Then when she was at the house later calling, Steve called 911, she said, there's a purse, a driver's license, and credit cards. Okay. And also to say it's unusual for Debbie to leave without telling anyone. But you literally spoke to her that afternoon. So you would have known where she was going. And she said she knew she's going to the Family Dollar store to buy her cleaning supplies to help her clean her apartment. You know what I mean? I feel like Debbie was in contact with Amanda telling her where she's going. And Amanda also went there to Rabun County to look for her mother. So I don't know. But yeah, Amanda and Andrew can lie a lot. That's proven. It's not defamation or slander. It's proven. They lie a lot to law enforcement and everything. They get handcuffed and all that for lying. Okay. Sources close to the investigation said that Debbie's phone at the scene was damaged and inoperable. Right? Okay. Yes. Okay. So we've looked at all the notes that I've written there. Then let me quickly look at this one more time. We've got the search warrants. I could go on all day. I could tell you now. I could go on all day long. Oh my word. So if we just look at these articles here from the Northeast Georgian, I just want to go over this quickly. I'll try skim it if it takes too long, because I just want it on record here that we have the articles that we could see what we said here, right? Thank you so much. PT Norman says, Fury love. Is that to buy Fury a snack, a treat? I will do that. Yeah, the 1-star reviews was Amanda. We covered that in the previous stream. Hope you saw that as well. That was. Where the Wind Blows says, rewatching this to catch up. Nice. The Uprising asked, have they released the cause of death for her? No, they have not. No, they have not. Gray says, it feels like Debbie was standing and on fire, then slipped down that hill, grabbing onto the tree, and then died. It does seem like that, but it's just like, man, what happened, right? Cause of death is what, right? All right. So let's just quickly look at this. They say, I've now put them in order here. So they say foul play suspected in missing woman's death, September 14th, 2022. Okay, so this was 3 days later. Habersham County Sheriff's investigators are treating the discovery of a dead body on the northern end of the county Sunday as a potential homicide. On Sunday afternoon, Habersham County Dispatch was contacted by a representative of Sirius XM Radio, who told them the location of the vehicle of a missing woman out of Clark County that she was believed to be driving. The location given was the intersection of Georgia Highway 15 and Victory Home Lane, just south of Tallulah Falls. Habersham County patrol deputies and a K9 unit responded to the location to search for the missing person. The K9 unit located a red tote bag and a partially burnt blue tarp. Further search resulted in locating the body of a female subject down an embankment close to where the bag and tarp were located. To a release from the sheriff's office said, Habersham County investigators served a search warrant Monday in Clark County at the home of the woman, later identified as Deborah Collier, 59, of Athens. They've also subpoenaed OnStar and phone records to determine a timeline of where Collier went, at what time, and with whom. We have more questions than answers right now, Sheriff Joey Terrell said. We do suspect foul play and are treating this as a homicide. The coroner's office took possession of the body and transported it to the GBI crime lab for an autopsy. Then the next one, September 23rd, says the murder investigation in Tallulah Falls went to another level this week upon releasing of a message the victim sent to her daughter before disappearing for good. On September 11th, Habersham County Sheriff's deputies and a K9 officer found Deborah Collier, 59, of Athens, partially burnt, half naked and grasping a tree in the woods just south of Tallulah Falls Middle School off Highway 15 and Victory Home Lane. Authorities released this week that Collier, who had gone missing out of Athens, sent her final communication to her daughter through Venmo. Collier sent her daughter $2,385 with a message that said, "They won't let me go. There is a key to the house underneath the blue flower pot by the door." Deputies also found a red tote bag and a partially burnt blue tarp near the abandoned Chrysler Pacifica, by a representative of Sirius XM Radio who located the missing vehicle. Habersham County investigators served a search warrant the following day in Clark County at Collier's home. So the first search warrant was at Collier's home. The next search warrant was at Amanda's home, and they confiscated Amanda and Andrew's cell phones. They've also subpoenaed OnStar and phone records to determine a timeline of where Collier went and at what time with whom. We have more questions than answers right now, Sheriff Joey Terrell said. We do suspect foul play and are treating this as a homicide. The coroner's office took possession of the body and transported it to the GBI crime lab for an autopsy. There was no new information on Collier's cause of death at press time. A release by the Habersham County Sheriff's Office Wednesday said there was no evidence of a kidnapping or unaliving. At this time, it's still very fresh, Colonel Murray Kogod said earlier this week. We're still trying to gather as much information as possible so we may be able to identify someone of interest to speak with. We're still pulling at the evidence together to possibly identify someone who would be a person of interest. Now, if you have any information, anyone out there who's watching this, Please contact Investigator Cale Garrison at 706-839-0559 or Investigator George Kaysen at 706-839-0560. Right, then we go to the next article, which says victim seen in a dollar store before murder. Venmo stamped 8 minutes after she left. All right. I would love to see the footage of her in that store browsing the aisles because she was in there for about 14 minutes. I would love to see that. I did ask. They said they don't have that to release at this time. And I would also like to see her leaving the store because once she pays here, she turns this way and the door is like literally right behind her. But she turns towards the left. So where does she go out? Another door, and why? Why not just go directly out the door behind her, right? Okay, so here they say Deborah Collier was seen at a store in Clayton less than 20 hours before she was murdered. Collier, who was found dead in a wooded area near Toledo Falls on September 11th, was spotted by camera footage at the Family Dollar store in Clayton around 3 p.m. September 10th. Her body was discovered just after noon the following day. Investigators were initially told that Collier's daughter, Amanda Bearden, was at the store as well that day. But an interview of the store clerk on September 10th, in addition to a review of the store camera footage, revealed that Bearden was not at the store then, Habersham County investigators said Monday. Collier entered the store at 2:55 p.m. and remained there until 3:09 p.m. In the video, the victim appears to be calm and not in fear of anything, a release by Habersham County Sheriff's Office said. All video footage obtained from the store and surrounding businesses reflect that the victim was alone in the van at the time she visited that store. In her final communication, Collier sent her daughter $2,385 on Venmo with a message that said, "They won't let me go. There's a key to the house underneath the flower pot." Yeah, no, they keep botching that message under the blue flower pot by the door. That Venmo message was time-stamped at 3:17 p.m. on September 10th, just 8 minutes after Collier left the Family Dollar. Collier, shown wearing a Georgia Bulldogs number 34 jersey on that Saturday, purchased a rain poncho, refillable torch lighter, a 2-roll pack of paper towels, a 7.5 by 9.5 tarp, and a reusable tote bag. This was confirmed by obtaining a copy of the store receipt and a copy of the video footage from the store security cameras, investigators said. Most of those items, were found near her body the following day. She was left topless and grasping a tree with her body partially burnt. The story has made national and international news as investigators scramble to find a suspect. The Habersham County Coroner's Office still had not released a cause of death by press time, and still not today, by the way. Tuesday, but authorities investigated this case as a homicide from the beginning. In an interview with Fox News Digital, John Kelly, a criminal profiler and psychotherapist, weighed in on the murder with strong words. This has all the signs of a sexual attack with volcanic rage. I have to think he was trying to cover his DNA. The burning is important to us. Is it a signature? Are we going to see more of that? Do we have a budding serial killer on our hands? Kelly said. The New York Post reported this weekend that Bearden and her boyfriend Andrew Tyler Geigerich had a history of DV or domestic incidents with each other. Bearden has been charged with making false reports of burglaries along with DV. She also served 30 days in jail after giving a fraudulent sample for a drug test, the Post reported. After one of the incidents between them last year, Geigerich allegedly left Bearden a disturbing note written in green marker on a small notepad. "Have a nice life, you lying itch. Don't ever contact me again. If you or your family ever come near me again, I will hurt them." And again, they leave out the last bit of that note, which says, "P.S. I'm not stupid. Here's your F toy." Yes, I saw the actual note finally. Finally, I saw the whole picture. We've got it here somewhere. That's what it says, because we were wondering, what toy is he talking about? Miss Chewy says, I've contacted Habersham County Records Department. They don't have that. They're like, "This is what we have, ma'am." It's not that. I don't believe anyone has seen it. So, man, if someone's seen it and it's out there, like, what the hell? Where is it? I've never seen it. I would love to see it. So if you know where it is, if you're watching this, you let me know. All right. So then here's the photos. The Northeast Georgian, this is from September 30th. Here is the photo of the flower pot. It looks like pieces of the jersey, blue tarp. You see? I don't know if this is the poncho or what that was. But here they say the attention to Deborah Collier's murder has spread nationally and even internationally because of its bizarre nature. But Habersham County Sheriff's investigators said Friday they did not expect a quick answer to the puzzle. At least they admit it's a puzzle too, right? It will take significantly longer than 19 days that have passed so far to solve this crime, Colonel Murray Kogart said. We've lost a lot of sleep in this investigation, as it should be. You know what? I can agree with that. I've lost a lot of sleep in this too, just thinking about all this. Like, what? Okay, this investigation is a marathon and not a sprint. Collier was found dead on U.S. Forest Service land September 11th, partially burned and half naked after driving from Athens to Clayton and then back into Habersham County, just south of Tallulah Falls Middle School on Victory Home Lane. There are still more questions and answers about how the pieces fit together. As far as this investigation goes, when we think we are on track with something, another curveball comes out of nowhere, Kaysen said. Tallulah Falls school zone cameras captured an image of Collier's Chrysler Pacifica heading northbound on Georgia Highway 15 toward Rabun County at 2:17 p.m. She arrived at the Family Dollar Store 2:55 p.m., purchasing several items that were found burnt at the scene of her death, and left the store at 3:09 p.m. Her now infamous Venmo message contained $2,385 was sent to her daughter Amanda Bearden at 3:17 p.m., and additional footage from the parking lot shows that she left in her van at 3:19 p.m. She headed south on Highway 15 back toward where she was found about 13 miles away. But of course, they don't have footage of her vehicle going south, so that may have been a back road trip after turning southward. I don't know. The investigators said Friday they were awaiting information about what device the Venmo message was sent from. Collier's cell phone was found at the scene of the murder, investigators confirmed on Friday, and they are awaiting information from subpoenas to multiple cell phone carriers. Kaysen said they also found her purse at the crime scene. The van was seen by a Tallulah Falls police officer around 5 p.m. that day, and the van was what led investigators to the scene on Sunday afternoon. Kaysen could not confirm whether the van was at that location overnight. Seeking suspects. The first look in many of these kinds of cases are at immediate family. Investigators have spoken with Bearden, her boyfriend Andrew Geigerich, and her husband Steve Collier. Kaysen said Friday that Stephen Collier's whereabouts were established in Athens between 9 and 4:06 Saturday. Note that they have not established the whereabouts of, not publicly, Amanda and Andrew, especially Andrew. Where the hell was he? Stephen works at Cineverse Bank, where he was supervising the parking of cars for the Georgia Bulldog game that day against Samford. There was initial confusion about Bearden possibly being present with Collier at the Family Dollar, but investigator Cale Garrison said Bearden had mentioned going to a different Family Dollar at an earlier time with her mother to get family supplies for her apartment, which she moved into on September 8th after living in Maryland. Garrison said there was no evidence or interview that indicated that Bearden was present at the Clayton store with her mother. Thank you so much, Janet Robertus. Is that how we say that? Thank you so much. Contessa says if you use a VPN, you can access US internet sites and documents. I'm sure you know this. Yeah, well, that's how I accessed the Georgian newspaper. The documents I've shown you today. So that's how I got that. But the one thing I can't check is background checks, although one of the Grizzlies has helped me out with that. So with the VPN and that, yes, I can now. I can. And that's why I'm so deep in the rabbit hole, because I couldn't search that site all day. It's very interesting. And I do have a VPN, ExpressVPN, not sponsored, but it helps me so much. Oh my word. Me being in the Netherlands. Oh yeah. Okay, so then we've not ruled anyone out at this point, Kaysen said. We're still in the process of trying to find a person or persons of interest. One thing that has attracted a lot of attention in this case was the cryptic note that accompanied the Venmo message saying they won't let me go. There's really no insight yet as to who they are, Kaysen said. But the officers on this case have not wavered on their thoughts that there is a killer to find. We have never changed our thoughts about this being a homicide. We'll work diligently day and night to solve this case and to bring justice to Miss Collier and her family. The thing is, guys, that means the killer's still out there. That's what I find really scary. You know, when they're like, don't panic, everybody's safe, and they say personal and targeted target, then they mean the public's not, in danger. But I'm still like, okay, but the killer's still out there, though. Leah Matthews, thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. Yeah, Stefan says, not yet sponsored. You know, Stefan, I contacted ExpressVPN because I'm like, you guys, I'm literally in the Netherlands covering a lot of American cases and I need the VPN. I'm the perfect person for you to sponsor, and they like offered me some lowball thing. I'm like, oh hell no, meaning like a commission based thing. No, a link. I wasn't interested in that. You either sponsor or you don't. Sorry, sorry about that. It just seemed like they could do better, so we'll wait. Arch Girl says, wonder why no one saw the fire. Right? Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm looking at their comments. So here they say, I'm reading you this also because the Georgian newspaper here, it's behind a paywall, you guys. So I also want it for my records here, okay? You can download the PDF so then you have it. But I think it's $8 for a month to sign up, which I signed up for so that I have it. So if you've never seen these articles before, now we're looking at them now. Okay, who are they? Okay, so they say we've never changed our thoughts about this being a homicide. Whoever they're looking for, they believe it is someone that Collier knew. There is no evidence to this point that this was something random. This was someone she either knew or had some association with. This was not a random act of violence. This was not the work of a serial killer. This was deliberate and personal. Bearden and Geigerich have been questioned in the case. It has been reported that both have DV run-ins with each other, and Bearden served 30 days of jail. I know some of this is a repeat, okay? For providing a false drug test sample while on probation. After the New York Post reported that Geigerich left a chilling note threatening Bearden's family, he spoke to Fox News and said that he and Bearden have barricaded their doors at night. We didn't have anything to do with this, so we're a little scared too. You know what I find interesting is that both him and Amanda call it this. They don't say, we didn't have anything to do with Debbie's murder, or we didn't have anything to do with her murder. We didn't have anything to do with her disappearing. Nothing. They say this. I mean, Amanda said she didn't deserve this. And Andrew says, we didn't have anything to do with this, which is, of course, the classic distancing language that we see in true crime cases, right? And he says he's scared, but yet he's an MMA fighter, amateur MMA fighter. But he can throw a punch. Even though he's a coward and punches his girlfriends. Very nice. Goodness me, baby boy, right? But he can throw a punch. Amateur MMA fighter. And yet he's scared and barricading the doors. No person of interest has been identified in this case as yet. I also find it interesting that if Amanda has any hunch that Andrew did this to her mother, that she's living with him right now. I don't think you could ever get more toxic than that, or wrong, right? At this point, they should definitely be separated. Either way. And then be watched. Yeah, sleuthing Sandal says distancing language. Okay, the crime scene, they say, was 200 yards off the road near the intersection of Victory Home Lane and Georgia Highway 15, and still is littered with remnants of whatever happened that fateful weekend, September 10 to 11. On Wednesday afternoon, there were burnt pieces of blue tarp Collier purchased at the Family Dollar in Clayton around 3 p.m. on Saturday, September 10th. There were burnt red strands of the Georgia Bulldogs jersey she was wearing that day, along with scorched paper towels. There are burnt leaves, some 10 feet off the ground, near the site where a fire was set, but by whom and for what specific purpose are still unknown. You see that? Burnt leaves 10 feet off the ground. Damn. Sheriff Joey Terrell said the discovery that Collier purchased the items found burnt at the scene was a surprise to investigators. Habersham County Coroner Casey McIntyre said this week that the autopsy results were pending on the actual cause of death. And I mean, that was dated September 30th. We've got this one from October 5th, which talks about the Waffle House as well. The attention to Deborah Collier's murder has spread nationally and even internationally because of its bizarre nature. I don't know why it's garnered so much attention, Sheriff Joey Terrell said Tuesday. It's blown up on social media. That has actually helped us because it's gotten in front of a lot of investigative sites and we have received some good tips. But we haven't seen anything like this attention when you have people from New York calling about someone found dead in Habersham County. Or from the Netherlands, am I right? Okay, I don't call. I only email. I don't do calls. In case you guys don't know that, I don't do calls with anyone. Ever. So I'm an emailer. Anyway, so they said Terrell said there were 8 search warrants ready to be served today as investigators continue their painstaking search for answers in this case. In their news conference Friday, Habersham County Sheriff's investigators said that they do not expect a quick answer to the puzzle. It'll take significantly longer than the 19 days that have passed so far to solve this crime. We've lost a lot of sleep in this investigation. That's what they said, right? Collier, we know the rest here. I just want to see where they say. As far as this investigation goes, when we think we're on track, there's another curveball. Now, here we go. Terrell said Tuesday that an image, can we please see this image? That would be great, to see what the hell's going on there. An image from Chick-fil-A in Commerce shows Collier beginning to make her way north on September 10th. Tallulah Falls school zone cameras captured an image of Collier's rented Chrysler Pacifica heading northbound on Georgia Highway 15 toward Rabun County at 2:17 p.m. She arrived at the Family Dollar in Clayton at 2:55 p.m. Now, this we all know. The rest there we know. And then they say as well, Terrell said one tip indicated that Collier might have stopped at a Waffle House in Clayton on her way south. We looked at that on the map time in the previous stream, so please check that out. And investigators are checking the validity of that lead. The Waffle House is just half a mile south of the Family Dollar. The investigators said Friday they were awaiting information about what device the Venmo message was sent from. Collier's damaged cell phone was found at the scene of the murder, investigators confirmed on Friday, and they are awaiting information from subpoenas to multiple cell phone carriers. Kazan said they also found her purse at the crime scene. The van was seen by a Tallulah Falls police officer around 5 p.m. that day, and the van was what led investigators to the scene on Sunday afternoon. Kazan could not confirm whether the van was at that location overnight. I mean, we assume it was, but we don't know. Imagine if she met up with someone there and was taken somewhere else and then put back there. We just don't know. They'll obviously be able to see that type of thing from all the tracking of the vehicle, right? So, yes. Investigators have spoken with Bearden, her boyfriend, Andrew Gregory, and her husband, Stephen Collier. So, this is now all repeat. And then we've got two more here. They say October 14th, 2022, Habersham County Sheriff investigators are waiting for information back before taking the next steps in the murder of Deborah Collier. That's still the update from today. The first month since Collier was found dead on U.S. National Forest land in Tallulah Falls passed this week with no real idea who may be responsible, but investigators have been steadfast that this is being treated as a murder. Cause of death has still not been released by the coroner after the body was sent to the GBI crime lab after the body's discovery on September 11th. The autopsy will hopefully give us some direction and clarification, Kogot said. We have not been given any type of timeline. Investigators have not been able to obtain any new footage of Collier or her vehicle on the day before she was found, September 10th. She was actually found September 11th, right? Previous videos, now they say videos. Previous videos show her at a Chick-fil-A in Commerce and then driving north on Highway 15 from Athens towards Clayton and later shopping at the Clayton Family Dollar Store. There have been no videos surface of her trip back into Habersham County other than to show that she went south on the highway out of the Family Dollar parking lot. Habersham County Sheriff's deputies have enlisted some help from the FBI on the case. The FBI has reviewed what we have so far and are still determining what aspects of the investigation in which they could provide assistance. Kogar said investigators are waiting on more than a dozen search warrants to come back along with the autopsy report. The murders, of course, attracted national and international attention due to its bizarre nature, the mysterious lack of suspects, the unusual route. I know you guys say route, right? In America, you guys say route? Route. The Collier took that day on the way to being found dead in the wooded area. It's worldwide, and true crime podcasts have taken a crack at finding something and the investigators have missed. Yeah. But so far, the mystery remains 33 days after her death. And then the last one they've got here, the most recent one, is from October 7th, I believe. Wait, then maybe there was one after that. I can't remember. October 7th, Athens Clarke County received 3 911 calls to their dispatch center on September 10th regarding the disappearance of Deborah Collier. Steve said, where we came home. Did he say we came home? He said when I came home. My wife wasn't home. Her driver's license is still here and the rental car is gone. Her daughter's here and we are kind of worried about what's happened to her, where she's at. Okay, so we've got all that. There's a key to the house underneath, under the blue flower pot by the door. Okay, and this we've all got the same. We've got everything going on here. Yeah, So if I just quickly want to go here. There's nothing else there. If we go here and search Collier, I just want to see what the latest could be. This one's September 30th, October 5th, 28th, 7th, 23rd May, October 14th. Did we look at that? September. Yeah, okay. So let's just see this one in the holding pattern. Yeah, we looked at this. Okay, cool. We looked at it. I think we've looked at all of them now, right? So yes, there's one of them that actually mentioned, I just can't see it now. Grizzly True Crime. That was pretty cool. It was about the Venmo thing. I was like, what? Yeah. The Joy Catcher says, why rent a van for one person? Interesting. Murder case on a holding pattern. Yeah, can't see anything else there. What's this one? What did I want to show you here? She was found dead after wiring her daughter money, sending a chilling text. On Wednesday, the sheriff's office announced it will hold a public briefing on the investigation. Okay, wait. There must be something in here that I found. I think it's probably this. We sleep with stuff in front of our door and our front door and back door because we didn't have anything to do with this. We're a little scared ourselves, said Andrew. Crime scene photos. Oh, yeah, okay. Unfired round. There we go. Found near the scene of Georgia woman's unsolved slaying. So I think I just wanted to go over this again. An unfired round discovered 20 to 30 yards from where police earlier this month spotted the remains of Georgia office manager Debbie Collier, who'd been partially burnt and stripped naked. And this one. Yeah, here they say Debbie was found naked and charred clutching this small sawn-off tree in the woods. What? I haven't seen another source for that. Gray says, everyone refers to it as a chilling text. Is it really? It might not be at all. It really is what it really is a distraction, right? It's like, imagine if it's got nothing to do with anything. Although a phone went off at that time, but still. That Venmo, that really throws us all for a loop, huh? So if we were to investigate, pretend we're police, and just for a second put that Venmo aside and then look at it with fresh eyes. I mean, I wonder then, So here's Steve, the distraught husband of murdered Georgia mom Debbie Collier, has broken his silence exclusively to Daily Mail, saying she was a beautiful woman and I loved her. Steve Collier, 67, visibly fought back tears as he spoke on the driveway of his single-family home in a secluded wooded neighborhood of Athens, 60 miles from where his wife's naked body, and burnt, was discovered in a ravine. It's been a long 2 weeks and I'm very tired, he said, before pausing and adding, my wife was a wonderful person. And a close friend of the couple, who did not want to be identified, confided to Daily Mail, Steve loved Debbie with all his heart. I know that for a fact. I cannot imagine what he's going through right now with the terrible loss of his wife and having to be part of the murder investigation and all that entails. I have known them both for many years and they were a devoted couple. Okay. So that's that article. And that's, where we... Here he was collecting the car. Collier picked up his wife's black pickup from a repair shop. She was driving a rental at the time of her murder. That must have been a very sad day. And now the car is up for sale. In a direct move of support, he added, I know suspicion can fall on the family of murder victims, but I would bet my life that Steve had nothing whatsoever to do with Debbie's disappearance. Steve Collier appeared frail and had difficulty walking when the Daily Mail saw him. The murderer would have had a strenuous job dragging or carrying Debbie Collier's body a quarter of a mile over rough terrain. That's the thing. They don't know if Debbie died before being where she was found or if she died at that scene. I think the most plausible explanation is if someone else is involved, maybe, pointing a gun at her and making her walk down there. Yeah. It's Amanda's reaction to the Venmo that is the red herring, in my opinion. Yeah, exactly. It's pretty much her reaction to everything that's like, what? Right? Okay. So let me look one more time if I've shown you all the documents I wanted to show you and all the pictures and everything. I've got a file here for Debbie Collier. Video and audio, we've looked at that. Okay, I'm looking at all my files that I've got here. Yeah, I think we've looked at everything here that I wanted to show you. There's just one more thing I could go to here. So if you haven't yet looked at the Northeast Georgian newspaper, let me put a link in the chat here if you wanted it, if you want to sign up and also see all the articles and what's coming up, put it in the chat there, okay? And then if we go here, oh, damn. Okay, wait. Andrew. Stand by. Search the history. Yes. In my mountain worth of YouTube history. Find it. Yeah, is it this? Could be this. Just a body cam. Again, just to watch this again.
And that's the only reason we've had
So this was from 2021, 0904. Okay.
any contact, because every week she takes $500 or $600 from my check, and I just don't see how that's right. And she goes and does dope with my money. Like
Notice that this is body cam footage, and notice how the man is towering over Andrew right now. Oh my word! It must be a very tall police officer, and of course, it's a very short Andrew, right?
Now I've made over $30,000, $40,000 this year, and I'm completely broke because she spends it all on drugs. And my issue, there's clothes in the house that is mine.
Could you tell me what happened when you came over here this morning?
I asked for my clothes, and she said I needed to leave. I mean, I just got here. I haven't done anything wrong. That window's been broke.
You see, he didn't do anything wrong. That window's been broke, except that 911 call that Debbie had made, and the reports we'll see was because Andrew broke the window. He damaged the property before. And I was like, I don't know, man. That window's already been broke. Yes, because you broke it, bro.
Can I just leave if she's not going to give me my stuff? I really haven't. I mean,
We're just trying to figure out what's going on because, beating on somebody's door this early, cause you've seen it. So, I understand you feel like stuff's been stolen or whatever. But
she said to not ring the doorbell because the cat was. I just knocked on the door a couple times. I haven't done anything that they're saying. I mean, they've already made false charges against me before.
So y'all were talking through the door at each other?
Trying to. But I mean, if she wants me to leave, I'll leave. I didn't know.
All right, man.
Can I just go?
Just stand by with me so he can talk to her. What's your name?
Andrew.
Andrew.
I just want to be done with her. I mean,
Have y'all?
She's been cheating on me. She's been doing drugs.
He just wants to be done with her, but yet in December he's got a key back to the house, and then that's 2021, and then in 2022, I don't know for how long she moved to Baltimore, Maryland, to stay with her brother, probably to get away from Andrew. But then the toxicity returns. She comes back. She's back in the Tallahassee Road house, and then he's there too. He's like, "Yeah, we just got back 2 days ago," but he lived in Georgia the whole time with his grandmother at that time when Amanda wasn't there. So when she left, he lived with his grandmother and his dad. And then when she comes back, he's like, "Yep, moving right in." Like, what the hell? Tracy says, "Micro." Yeah. Yes. Grace says, I think law enforcement vehicles should have a 360 dome recording all activities. Yeah, that would be so cool, on my word. Mr. Unaccountable. Oh, my word. Okay, here we go.
I've never done any drugs in my life.
Have y'all had police involved before in y'all's business?
I mean, he's never done any drugs in his life. Did you hear that? Literally lying right there to law enforcement just like that. I've never done any drugs in my life. Bro, we can see your tweets from 2013 where you said, one day I'm going to be a serial killer. Okay, and you also say the whole time how you on drugs every day. I mean, come on.
What's your name?
Andrew. I just want to be done with her. I mean,
Have y'all?
She's been cheating on me. She's been doing drugs. I've never done any drugs in my life.
Have y'all had police involved before in y'all's business?
Yeah, and that's why I'm trying to get my money back because we're not supposed to have contact, but she's taking $500 each check.
Why aren't y'all supposed to have contact, Andrew?
Because
Is there like a court order?
I guess so. I don't know. I went to court a while back, but
Did you get arrested?
I've been arrested before. Well, the last time I got arrested because they falsified whatever. I mean, her mom.
They falsified. I don't know, whatever. I mean, her mom, and then he says, I don't know why I'm so unliked. You see?
Dude, I don't know what the issue is here. I don't know why I'm so unliked. This girl got hit by a car, and I'm taking care of her. I don't know what the problem
Let's
is.
get in the shade. Over
I
here.
would just like to. I mean, I work hard.
Where do you work at?
Williams Sonoma.
Williams Sonoma. Okay.
I just want to know why it's okay.
William Sonoma. Now we know that one as well. I just want to see here. RPH 9493. This is the car, the one that's behind him right now, that was parked at the house the day that law enforcement went there. I believe on the Sunday, from what we went over earlier. The Nissan Versa 2007 RPH 9493 plate is right there. There's a PL. Let's see this one. Wait. Written all this stuff down here. Okay, let me just play this. So there you can see it. Interesting. I wonder where he was that day. PLM 7442. Wait. Oh no, that was PMA. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, here we go.
And I'm taking care of her. I don't know what the problem is.
Let's get in the shade. Over
I would
here.
just like to. I mean, I work hard.
Where do you work at?
Williams Sonoma.
Williams Sonoma. Okay.
I just want to know why it's okay for her to steal $600 a week from me, and I can't do anything about it.
It's not.
It was first $500, now it's $600. Okay, and he works hard for her. He said. Also, is this the G from the Georgia Bulldogs? Because it looks like the same G sticker that is on Debbie's face when she's pictured with her husband supporting the Georgia Bulldogs. Am I correct in saying that, you guys? Is this a Georgia Bulldogs cap? I know on the back it's a Nike cap, but is it?
Okay. So we're here now, so
Because
maybe
last
we can
time I
help
went to
out.
court, I mentioned that, and
What'd they say?
I mean, well, they pushed it back till another day. So like,
How does she have access to your money?
well, long story short, when we were together, my phone broke. Long story short, I mean, she's manipulated me into all the where she could have all my money, basically do whatever she wants to me, kick me out whenever she wants, basically just do whatever. And it's okay because I'm a man. There's nothing I can do about it, like other than just let her do it or leave.
But how does she? I'm asking.
Well,
how
long
does
story
she?
short, I didn't have a phone
Uh-huh.
because my phone broke. So this is the dumbest mistake I've ever. We linked our cards together so she can send herself money from my card. So I mean, the first person to touch my money is her, and it's usually $500 or $600.
Where do you work? So how do you get paid through your job?
Well, I just recently switched it to a paper check, so she couldn't do that.
This guy. So how do you get paid for your job? Well, everything just sounds like a lie, right?
And
Okay. So you kind of took care of that problem.
yeah, but I mean, it's still $4,000 that.
You got to go to court for something like that. If she's not willing to give you the money back, you got to take her to court, a civil court, because y'all live together. So it's a civil issue.
Well, we don't live together anymore.
Y'all did though.
You literally do, though. In December of this year, you still had a key to the apartment. You do live together. You did live together. You're even living together right now. 2022, people, October. My goodness.
Okay.
So
I'm just trying to figure out because I've told her like, hey, don't take any of my money. I'm staying at my grandma's, and then I'll.
And then it just cuts off right there. This clip. Sure, my goodness. This guy, I don't know. If him and Amanda could just let us all know, where were you on Saturday, September 10th, all day? Where were you on Sunday, September 11th, and let's say the 12th? Where the hell were you? Number one. And can you maybe just keep a story straight? That'll be great. My goodness. Caroline, Andrew has no choice but to make a long story short. He can only tell short stories, right? Oh, man. People getting snarky, right? Yeah. Very nice censorship there, DD Burn. He's so full of beep. Do these two even know who lives where? Yeah, that's the thing, right? Oh, my word. Well, everyone, we're almost at 2 hours now, so I'm going to call it a day. I hope that you found the stream informative and interesting, even though it's bits and pieces from everywhere. I find it all interesting. I also think it's interesting that he there says, she cheated on me and takes my money. Okay, but then he also says he takes care of her. So do you take care of her or does she take your money? Because, wow. But she also put on her Facebook at some point that she would basically not tolerate cheating. So I would assume he may have been the one who cheated. I don't know. But she seems very attached to her boyfriends. So I don't know. I'm not saying she's not a cheater. I have no evidence of either. But with him saying she takes my money and cheats, I don't know about that. Yeah, the police need to get snarky with him. Maybe they did, Miss Ark and Sassy. Maybe they did get snarky with him, right? So, everyone, thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead and evening ahead. I will let you know if there's anything, if there's a press conference, if there's any new documents, any new information. I will let you know. Of course, as you can see, I'm following this case very closely and I'm very baffled by it all. Like, what on earth happened to Debbie? On Saturday, this past Saturday, was her celebration of life. So any day now, her autopsy should be ready. Not that that has to do with the celebration of life. I just mean time-wise. Rumor was after the celebration of life, they'll have a press conference. And then the fact was law enforcement said about 6 weeks. So if we look at that timeline, it should be any minute now that her autopsy should be ready, which could clear up some stuff like how and why and when, right? Remember, always to avoid going too far off the deep end, think of motive. Cop facts. You know cop facts, you guys? He reminds us of that always. The who, what, why, where, and when, but also motive. Definitely helps to stay on a more logical thinking path of like, what the hell would the motive be? Thank you so much, Peter Pronzo, Lieutenant Peter Pronzo. Is it like that, Lieutenant Peter Pronzo, right? Motive and who, what, why, where, and when, right? Brian says, yes, another good stream. Thank you so much. I do want to say one more thing. On Sunday, I went to a zoo in the Netherlands. So this is now waffle time. Firstly, I got this panda shirt, number 1, from Mr. Grizzly, and I saw pandas. But you know what else I saw? A whole bunch of brown bears. They're so cute. They're shorter than grizzlies, like short and chubby. And so I filmed a bunch of footage for you guys, especially on Patreon. I'm going to be putting the link over there. There was a little live stream that I did. So if YouTube members didn't see it, go look on the community tab. The link is over there. Thank you so much, Lori McElvena. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you to everyone who supported the channel today with super stickers. I have no clue, by the way, what's going on with this membership gifting. YouTube support gives me 10 different answers every single time. Sorry about that. Waffle time, exactly. So I just want to say on Patreon, there's a video coming out. There's 2 things I did last weekend. Went out and filmed some stuff around the city. And this weekend, I went out to a zoo where it was like filled with bears. I was in awe. But I only lasted 2 hours there because I'm still a little bit sick, okay? Because I'm naughty and I don't sleep very much because I'm looking at this true crime stuff. Takes me a little longer to recover, it seems. So, yes, very busy. And anyways, I'm going to put those 2 videos together for you guys soon, okay? Right. So, let's see what else you guys are saying. Crazy motive. Thanks, everyone. They had red pandas there. Red pandas, polar bears, brown bears, and panda bears. Can you believe it? I was in awe. You like walk over this bridge. It looks similar to the one I've shown you guys at the zoo before. And you look all around, it's forest all around. And it's filled with brown bears. There were like 8 brown bears. One of them has been there for 21 years. It's like, so I was really amazed. I was like, what is this? So Michelle says, you need to sleep. I do lots of nap time. But yes. Jenna says, love that you read all your chats. Interesting. Steve Collier needs to throw Amanda out of his home now that Debbie's gone. That horrible daughter needs to go. Rochelle says, love the train ride. Yeah, I'm sorry about the signal. I was losing signal, so then we stopped the live stream. But it was fun. They literally have polar bears. They're ambassadors to help protect all these endangered bears. That specific zoo in the Netherlands, it's an animal park more than a zoo. Sometimes they say dierenpark, which is like zoo, but it's huge. It's like you can't believe the size of these enclosures. It's not even an enclosure, just about. It's like an entire forest full of brown bears. I couldn't believe my eyes. I couldn't believe it. South Texas says, thanks, guys. Like my true crime from someone in the Netherlands, and it's more accurate than my USA news. Damn. Thank you, South Texas. Red pandas are the cutest. They really are. You'll see polar bears. I'm going to go back there soon because I was just so in shock to see all those bears. I want to go back to film even more so that I can show you guys, and maybe we could live stream from there. So if you like that kind of stuff, it's behind the scenes stuff, just everything other than true crime. I still share true crime documents and things on Patreon, but everything beyond true crime is really on Patreon. So if you want to be there, that's a really great place to support me, and you get really cool perks, in my opinion. If anyone is a patron here, in your opinion, are they cool perks or what? With a picnic basket. Are we back to talking about the case, or am I going there with a picnic basket? Yes, they are endangered. That's why they're there. All those that are there. All right. So, polar bear true crime also doesn't have the same return. I know, right? A lot of people ask me why grizzly, but because a sleuth of bears is called... No. A group of bears is called a sleuth. That's pretty cool. Grizzly... Gisela, Grizzly, it's got a ring to it. Grizz, I don't know. Love bears. And we all need a mascot, don't we? Right? Need a freaking mascot. So for me, it's grizzly bears. I just love grizzlies. And then there's a play on the word grizzly. Grizzly true crime. Yeah, a sleuth of bears. Can you believe it? That a group of bears is called a sleuth? Anyway. Thank you, Rob. Patreon is a great platform. Aileen says, awesome perks. Amber says, I love Patreon. Jessica says, which zoo was it? It's called Over Hunts. O-U-W-E. And then like hands. Over Hunts Zoo. It opened in 1932. Book Girl says, Grizzly True Crime is so fierce. Thank you, Stefan, for sharing the Patreon link. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. Dragonfly Lady says, oh, I'd love that. So yeah, there's lots of footage. There's so much. If you join Patreon today, every single tier gets the same benefits with one difference. The top tier, which is something I cannot control, gets a mug after 3 months. That's something that Patreon allows for the top tier memberships because they've got a minimum amount, to qualify for that. But every tier gets the same benefits. So even if you join at the lower tier, you're getting all the same benefits. So go check it out. Patreon.com/grizzlytruecrime. And then documents like the ones I read today, or pictures, things that I don't generally share on here, I'll put on there too. So you get lots of documents there too. Pictures, all kinds of stuff. And sometimes Mr. Grizzly too. He shared his Addis Ababa trip with us there. Yes. Dierentuin is Dutch for zoo. And dierenpark? What about a dierenpark? Yeah, you should go check it out, Jessica. Does your mascot have a name? That's such a cute picture, by the way. I don't know, just Grizzly. Grizzly. And I like how other creators are like, hey, Grizz, hey, Grizzly. What up, Grizzly? Gisela. It's a mouthful. It's not too bad, actually. Gisela. Yes, we're a sleuth of grizzlies. Isn't that so cool? Oh, my word. I just love it. And lastly, I want to see you do more zipline rides. You guys know what that's about. If you saw me on a live stream cycling this country, I was cycling a lot that day, and I went on a zipline that day. That was really fun. Really fun. So, thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it. Thank you, mods. And I will see you guys all again very soon when there's any news. I am looking at all these other cases like Quentin Simon. I know law enforcement didn't search the landfill over the weekend, and they're resuming this week. I really hope that they find him. I saw that Billy Joe hightailed it out of there in her camper van, being arrested. See, I'm glitching out because it's all too much. I saw protesters being arrested, but if there's actual news in the case, I will share it with you, okay? So, I'm watching that in many other cases, and I'll keep you posted. Thank you so much, and see you guys soon. Bye.